Okay guys, let's continue with the Curse Spirit Cleanup battle, and today will be the red stages. Now, this one is actually a bit more difficult. I think it's the most difficult out of all the four. And I tried to use the same strategy as I did previously, but because the boss mechanic actually changed, previously it was quite straightforward, whereas this time around, it actually reduced your curse energy and also your ult energy whenever you use special attack. So I did actually have to make some adjustments to my lineup. So the change I have made is basically previously I had Nanami in this slot because I actually wanted a bit of extra buff to do all the damage, etc. However, this time around, because the boss will actually drain away your curse energy, I am kind of forced to bring Kaito instead to actually provide curse energy. So the rest of the team actually have enough curse energy for the remainder of the battle. So that's kind of the pretty much the only change I made and the reason why I made that change. Now, having said that, this was still very tough. I have my Toji at 5 dupe, his ultimate skill at level 10, and also have his potential completely unlocked as well. If I show you, all of his attacking nodes are completely unlocked, and even with this I could only beat it by 10-16, so I initially only have 1 turn left. So I do feel like it's going to be very tough unless your Toji is highly leveled up. I'll probably try to see whether I can find another way to beat the stage in the future, but right now the strategy I have based on my previous attempt is just going to be this one, and it does require quite a bit of investment on your Toji. Okay, now if your Toji is not as highly leveled up, obviously what you can do is, first of all, you can go to the exchange shop to exchange for dupes. It's worth it to get it on a red DPS such as Toji. And then the other thing you can also do is actually just max out the potential on your Yaga and also your domain Gojo, because I haven't actually unlocked either of them. But basically what I mean is, for example, this one, the one that's going to give you an extra 2.5% damage down. If you unlock both of them for Yaga and also for domain Gojo, basically what you can do is actually get an extra 10% damage dealt to all of your rare characters, and because your domain Gojo will do quite a bit of attacks as well, especially when you're actually on the domain. So it's actually probably gonna make up quite a bit of damage if you do actually unlock all of their potentials. But yeah, it's just gonna be very tight, as you can see from my gameplay later. Now, there's one other thing I also kind of want to call out because it is going to be somewhat tricky and you guys need to play around with it quite a bit just to find the right balance. But basically, if your Toji is actually too strong, what's going to end up happening is that you will actually kill off the second phase of the boss without your domain Gojo actually charge up his ult in time. And if you don't actually charge up his ult in time, the boss is going to have his special attack ready as soon as you enter phase 3, and then you actually reduce the ult for all of your character, and then it's going to make it even harder for you to charge up your ult. So that's kind of why it's actually going to be very important that you actually leave a bit of room on phase 2 for your both domain Gojo and also your domain Gojo and also domain Megami to charge up their ult ready completely full by the start of phase 3. So what you actually see me doing is that I actually stopped I think like 3 turns of buffing on my Yaga just before my Toji's ultimate attack, because I know if I buff more than once, my Toji's ultimate attack is going to be too strong and I kind of have to dial it back a bit. So depending on how strong is your Toji, you may decide to buff on your Yaga twice before your ult, or maybe only buff it once, or maybe buff it 3 times, etc. You just kind of need to play around in order to figure out what's the right balance for you. The other thing you can also do is I didn't actually activate my recollection. Once again, I will just one-shot it if I actually do. So you can also play around with perhaps actually activating your recollection, or maybe actually using your ultimate attack 1 turn earlier, etc. So there are definitely quite a few things you can play around to reduce how much damage or increase how much damage you can do on phase 2, just so that you can buy yourself enough time to charge up your ult for phase 3. Okay. And for this stage, I am not going to show you a free-to-play strategy either, mainly because it's actually very easy to be the first 2 phases, and basically domain Gojo is not even going to do anything. So the free-to-play version is literally just going to be my first 4 character in the first team starting lineup. Obviously, I told you doesn't need to be that strong. Like I said, I literally skipped 3 turns of buffing on my Yagas to not kill phase 2. So if you're actually a free-to-play player and not having domain Gojo and also Toji is too low level, it's absolutely fine. Just continuous buff on your Yaga and you can easily beat phase 2, and potentially, depending on who you have on the backup, probably Nanami is going to be the best choice, but then you can potentially get to rank 8 or rank 9 as well. But rank 10 is definitely going to be very tough unless you have domain Gojo.
やるか。相手の動きを観察。どうする。
皆様前に集中を。
授業を始めよう。
行くぞ。集中。行くぞ。
相手どうする。授業を始めよう。
行くぞ。集中するんだ。
やるか。相手どうする。
後ろは任せてください。
では教育の時間だ。
しっかり行くぞ。
相手さて授業を始めよう。
取り組む。
最後まで際立て。
今なら俺でもいつでも行けるぞ。
はい任せろ。
連想して教育展開覚悟を上げるべ。おつけやるぞ。
授業を始めよう。終わりだな。
しっかりしろ。行くぞ。
最善の一手。
邪魔はさせない。
終わりだな。
集中するんだ。行くぞ。
最善。
援護しろ。ガラケー。さて軽くひねるか。やっちゃっていい。
やるか。任せろ。
術式準備。行くぞ。
すべて問題なし。最後まで気を抜くな。
はい。やるか。
さて準備どうする。
術式準備。ガラケー。
終わりだな。
はい、今がチャンスだよ。やるか。
さてどうする。では教育の時間だ。
邪魔だよ。ここで叩く。やっちゃって。やるか。
さて授業を始めよう。
術式反転。はあ。それじゃおしまい。いつでもいけるぞ。
さて任せろ。授業を始めよう。
領域展開無料空示。領域展開覚悟を上げるべ。めぐみわかりました。
終わりだな。
やっちゃやるか。
さて任せろ。授業を始めよう。
まだまだガラケー
仕留めた。
手加減はいくぞ。
さて任せろ。では教育の時間だ。
まだまだ取り組む。
仕留めた。
手加減はしてあげるよ。いくぞ。
さて任せろ。
術式反転。
相変わらずだな。
いくぞ。
行くぞ総力戦だ。これで払い切る。すべて問題なし。殺す。行くぞ。逃がすか。
はい行くぞ。
相手の動きを観察しろ。どうする。授業を始めよう。
術式反転。
はいおこれ解散。